Hello everyone and welcome back to IELTS Adda. It's this team teacher Nishtha Singh. I hope all of you are doing really great. So first let's connect everybody. जल्दी से सब लोग आ जाओ. As you are well aware that what we are going to discuss in today's session, we are going to be discussing the answers of the listening test that we took yesterday. ठीक है, तो आज हम लोग उन listening test के questions के हम answers discuss करेंगे जो कल हमने सुना था. I know कि जो ऑडियो थी इट वॉज लिटिल बिट एट अ हायर पेस, थोड़ा सा था इट वॉज, बट इट वॉज इन दैट कि आप बिल्कुल नहीं कर सकते थे. फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट में यू कुड हैव गेन्ड एटलीस्ट 30+ और 35+ मार्क्स. सो दैट वॉज रियली ईजी, I can say, because some of you has sent me the answers and you have gained, achieved a very good score. So that's really great. So jaldi se sab log aa jao so that we can start on time and we can finish the answers and discussion on time as well. Okay? Okay. So in the meantime, I'm just opening out the audio because we'll be discussing and listening to the audio while pausing it. So I'm just going to play it on over the phone. Okay? So quickly, let's connect everybody. And the quote we have already discussed, it was the same as yesterday. So let's quickly move to the question part. Okay? So jaldi se sab log aa jao so that I can start with the solution. चलो, तो एज यू गाइज आर अवेयर, कुछ बच्चों ने मुझे आंसर्स भेज दिए थे, कुछ ने नहीं भेजे थे. सो कोई बात नहीं, हम फिर भी क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 to 40 वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस एनीवेज, राइट, ताकि जिन्होंने नहीं भेजे, जिनको समझ में नहीं आया, दे विल हैव अ प्रीटी गुड आइडिया एंड अ क्लियर आइडिया हाउ टू एटलीस्ट गो अहेड विद द क्वेश्चंस, राइट. तो चलो, आई एम गोइंग टू स्टार्ट to play the audio. Audio एकदम आराम से सुनो पहले बैठ के and then try to answer the questions and I'm also be answering with the same way. ठीक है ना, सुनेंगे आराम से, आंसर करेंगे, कोशिश करेंगे समझने की. and do let me know if the audio is not clear या फिर थोड़ा बहुत भी कहीं पे फ्लिकर करता है. वैसे audio you guys already have the audio in the previous session, right, and it was pretty good clear. बट अगर अभी भी नहीं हो पा रहा है, मतलब नहीं समझ में आता है, तो डू लेट मी नो. ओके, आई एम जस्ट गोइंग टू प्ले दी फर्स्ट पार्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड द क्वेश्चन नंबर 1, 2 and 3. ठीक है, चलो सबसे पहले ना क्वेश्चन रीड करते हैं. सबसे पहला काम हमारा क्या होता है व्हेन वी आर डूइंग द लिसनिंग पार्ट. सो द फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट थिंग दैट वी हैव टू डू इज टू रीड आउट द क्वेश्चन. ठीक है, सबसे पहले क्वेश्चन देखा. सो व्हाट वी डू नीड टू इन दिस क्वेश्चन, सो वी नीड टू कंप्लीट द टेबल बिलो. नाउ व्हाट इज द टेबल? So table is obviously here. It says that we have few blanks. 1, this is 3 and this is 2. So we have to complete this. So ये हमें करना है इसमें. अच्छा, now this is the instruction which is very important. Why? क्योंकि यहाँ पे हमें ये बताया जाता है कि what is the word limit that you can use in your answers and how you are going to write. So इसमें क्या लिखा है? Write no more than 3 words and or a number for each answer. No more than 3 का मतलब है maximum you can use 3 words or numbers. ठीक है ना? So maximum 3 कर सकते हो, minimum 1 कर लो, 2 कर लो या 3 कर लो, ऐसे है. 3 से ज़्यादा नहीं जाना चाहिए. ठीक है, सो आंसर कितने, मतलब मिनिमम वर्ड्स कितने होने चाहिए? 1 और मैक्सिमम कितना होना चाहिए? 3. In between 2 it would be good, but 3 से ज़्यादा you cannot go for 4 words of answer. ठीक है, तो चलो, now I have read the question. हमें टाइम मिलता है 30 seconds का to read the questions properly. So I know यहाँ पे क्या डिस्कशन, मतलब कोई डिस्कशन हुआ होगा जिसमें एनिमल्स कहाँ से वो लाए गए और रीज़न क्या था उन्हें लाने का. ठीक है, सो दिस हैज़ बिन डिस्कस्ड. तो एक बार ऑडियो सुनते हैं. लेट्स ट्राई टू गेट अ क्लियरर आइडिया दैट व्हाट इज इट ऑल अबाउट. ठीक है, सो आई एम गोइंग टू प्ले द ऑडियो. ट्राई टू लिसन टू इट केयरफुली, प्रॉपरली, and then try to answer. ठीक है?
One. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5.
In today's lecture, I want to look at one of Australia's least loved animals, but one that has an interesting history from which I think we can learn a fundamental lesson about problem solving. While Australia is famous for its many wonderful native animals, in particular the kangaroo and the koala, it also has some less attractive animals, many of which were actually brought to Australia in the 19th and 20th centuries. First, perhaps the most well-known introduced animal is the rabbit, brought originally by the early settlers as a source of food.
Okay, so I know first and foremost animal which was brought by settlers क्या था? It is rabbit. So मुझे यहाँ से पता लग गया कि मेरे first question का आंसर क्या हो जाएगा? It is going to be rabbit. Yes or no? जिसने रैबिट किया दैट्स वेरी गुड एंड करेक्ट, और जिसने नहीं किया तो आपको समझ में आना चाहिए वाई रैबिट इज द करेक्ट आंसर. ठीक है, उसने बता दिया सेटलर्स है रीजन फॉर फूड, ही और शी विल से. ठीक है, तो एक बार फिर से सुनते हैं हम लोग. जहां तक हमने सुन लिया दैट्स गुड, आगे चलते हैं.
Interesting history from which I think we can learn a fundamental lesson about problem solving. While Australia is famous for its many wonderful native animals, in particular the kangaroo and the koala, it also has some less attractive animals, many of which were actually brought to Australia in the 19th and 20th centuries. First, perhaps the most well-known introduced animal is the rabbit, brought originally by the early settlers as a source of food. Another animal to be introduced by the settlers was the fox, and this was for the purpose of sport in the form of fox hunting.
Okay, so reason क्या था इसको लाने का? Fox लेके कौन आया? Settlers लेके आए. And what is the reason behind it? For the sports, for fox hunting. Now, either you can simply write sports or you can just write fox hunting. ठीक है? So both are going to be correct. अब पर ऐसा मत लिख देना sports for fox hunting. Why? Because it is consisting of 4 words, which is incorrect. ठीक है, ये क्या हो जाएगा हमारा? गलत हो जाएगा. क्यों गलत हो जाएगा? क्योंकि इंस्ट्रक्शन में साफ बोला गया है that you can at most use only 3 words. So the answer is going to be either simply write for sports and fox hunting, right? Both are absolutely correct. ठीक है, either you can go with sports or you can go with fox hunt. That was the reason that they have been brought here. ठीक है, चलो next पे चलते हैं.
But perhaps the most unusual animal ever brought here was the cane toad. Here is a picture of one. It's a large and some people would say very ugly species of toad, and was deliberately imported to this country by the sugarcane.
Okay, so कौन लेके आया था इनको? एक बार फिर से सुन लेते हैं. Let's hear to this.
Toad, and was deliberately imported to this country by the sugarcane farmers in 1935 in an attempt to eradicate the beetle which destroys the sugarcane plant.
चलो, now you have listened to it. Cane toads कौन लेके आया? Sugarcane farmers, right? To eradicate the beetles. Now eradicate is what? To completely remove or to kill them, right? So यहाँ पे कौन हो जाएगा? Answer is going to be sugarcane farmers, right? Cane farmers, sugarcane farmers, you can write. ठीक है? So यहाँ पे हमें प्रॉपर मेंशन करना पड़ेगा कि who was the like broughters of this, कि कौन लेके आया उनको. So कौन हो जाएंगे? Sugarcane farmers. समझ में आया? कोई भी डाउट हो इन 3 क्वेश्चंस में, you guys can let me know. Let's move to the next one. So next पे क्या है हमारे? 2 हमारे questions हैं. So again what we are going to do, we are going to like read the instructions carefully and then move to the question. ठीक है? अच्छा, क्वेश्चन में क्या बोला गया है? कंप्लीट द फ्लो चार्ट बिलो. अच्छा, मुझे यानी कि क्या करना है? फ्लो चार्ट को कंप्लीट करना है. नेक्स्ट इज राइट नो मोर देन 2 वर्ड्स एंड और अ नंबर. अब मुझे यहाँ पे ना 3 की जगह कितना लिमिट मिली हुई है? 2 वर्ड्स की. सो दैट मीन्स आई कैन आंसर इन 1 और आइदर 2 वर्ड्स, मतलब 1 से 2 के बीच में. सो या तो एक लिख दो या दो लिख दो. सो दैट इज योर एट मोस्ट लिमिट. मिनिमम 1, मैक्सिमम 2. सो दैट्स हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू आंसर. नाउ listen to the audio and try to answer the question. Okay.
So, how does the beetle do this? Well, it lives in the cane and drops its eggs onto the ground.
देखो, drops his eggs onto the ground. That means lay their eggs. Laying, जो egg laying होता है वो क्या होता है? अंडे देना. तो ड्रॉप देयर एग्स का मतलब ये क्या है? उन्होंने अंडे दिए और नीचे उन्होंने दे दिए एक तरीके से अंडे. ठीक है ना. तो लेट्स लिसन टू दिस. वो स्टेप बाय स्टेप दे आर जस्ट टेलिंग इट कि बीटल्स का इफेक्ट शुगर केन पे कैसे कैसे होता है. ठीक है, तो सुनते हैं हम इसे.
On the base of the plant, the eggs develop into grubs and then they eat the cane roots. This, as you would expect, is far from good for the plant. And
so grub eats the eggs become grubs. यहाँ पे rugs नहीं होगा, ये grubs होगा. I have written it. यहाँ पे क्या कर देंगे? We'll make it as grubs. And grubs eat the, अभी उसने क्या बोला? It eats the roots. ठीक है, तो क्या हो जाएगा? Correct answer is roots. Let's listen to the next one. Roots के बाद में fourth part में वो क्या करता है? Sugar cane.
Result is, of course, that within a short period of time, the plant dies.
Now the plant dies. Now which plant are we talking about? We were talking about the sugarcane plant, right? So step 4 में क्या हो गया? The sugarcane dies, right? So question number 4 and question number 5 का आंसर क्या हो जाएगा? 4 में is going to be roots and in 5 it is going to be dies. ठीक है, समझ में आना चाहिए हमें that what is the correct answer, right? Clear है ये चीज? अगर कोई doubt हो please do let me know. Okay, then we'll move forward. I know what is the word limit. I have written in only one words. तो मेरी word limit भी क्या है? Limited है, जो मेरे को given था उसी के अंडर में. Now question number 6 to 10, what it says, इसमें क्या है? Choose the correct letter A, B और C. मुझे क्या करना है? Correct letter choose करना है. I have few questions, 6, 7, ऐसे ही 8, 9 and 10. ठीक है, so मेरे पास 5 questions हैं. So you will be getting those questions on a single go. आपको एक साथ सब दिखेंगे. यहाँ पे we don't have that much space, so I have put 2 questions at a time and 3 questions at another page. So what we'll be doing, we'll be reading the questions first and then we'll be listening to the audio and try to answer the question. Okay? चलो. So first let's read out the question. Question पहले 6 में क्या बोल रहा है? The cane toad originated in. कहाँ originate हुए थे? चलो ठीक है. Second में like in question 7 it says in Australia the toads. A, B, C, 3 options. We have to choose one. Correct one. ठीक है. तो चलो let's listen to it.
About this time, news was trickling in from overseas about a toad, which supposedly ate the beetles which killed the cane. It was reported that this cane toad, which was native to Central America, had been taken to Hawaii.
Okay, which was native to. Native to का मतलब होता है जहाँ से it belongs or where it originated. ठीक है, native क्या होता है? Originated, native. हम कहते हैं ना कि let's say that my native place is Delhi but right now I'm living in Bangalore. तो native मतलब जहाँ पे I have been born and brought up. So that is your native place, native. ठीक है, ये word याद रखना. So correct answer is going to be, इसने बताया कि native place क्या था? Central America. But it has been brought to Hawaii and Australia and some other places. So the correct answer is going to be, देखो यहाँ पे Hawaii और सेंट्रल ऑस्ट्रेलिया क्या कहते हैं, सॉरी ऑस्ट्रेलिया, यू विल बी फाइंडिंग कि हाँ हो सकता है यहाँ पे इन्हें लाया गया तो ये इनका ओरिजिनेटेड प्लेस होगा. नो, नेटिव प्लेस इज द ओरिजिनेटेड. सो इट इज गोइंग टू बी सेंट्रल हवाई. ठीक है, समझ में आया? वाई ए इज द करेक्ट आंसर. So let's listen.
Native to Central America, had been taken to Hawaii, where cane is also grown, and introduced with apparent success. So, with the backing of the Queensland authorities, the farmers arranged to import 100 toads from Hawaii. The toads were then released into the cane fields to undertake the eradication of the cane beetle. As predicted, the toads started to breed successfully, and within a very short time their numbers had swollen.
Okay, so 7 का क्या हो जाएगा? जब हवाई से ऑस्ट्रेलिया लेके आए, the toads began to swallow, now their numbers have increased. So क्या हुआ? Multiplied in number, यही तो हुआ सबसे पहले. Yes or no? Correct answer is going to be B. Not A grew extremely large. बड़े तो नहीं हुए, साइज में तो बड़े नहीं हुए ना. लार्ज का मतलब क्या होगा? That they grew in size, but they didn't grow in size, but apparently they were multiplied in numbers. They grew in numbers. So उनका क्या हुआ कि let's say earlier it was 100, but then they multiplied to become 1000. So they reproduced. तो वो चीज उन्होंने की. ठीक है? So B is the correct answer here. Next is going to be क्वेश्चन रीड करेंगे एक बार एंड देन विल मूव फॉरवर्ड. 8 में बोल रहा है द फार्मर्स प्लान फेल्ड बिकॉज. क्यों फेल हुआ उनका? द शुगर केन इंडस्ट्री. एंड देन द सेकेंड लेसन टू बी लर्न फ्रॉम द स्टोरी इज दैट. ठीक है, सो लेट्स लिसन.
The toads were then released into the cane fields to undertake the eradication of the cane beetle. As predicted, the toads started to breed successfully, and within a very short time their numbers had swollen. But there was one serious problem. It turned out that cane toads do not eat cane beetles. And the reason for this is that toads live on insects that are found on the ground, and the cane beetles live at the top of the cane plant.
चलो, सो नाउ क्या रहा? उनका प्लान फेल क्यों हो गया? क्योंकि केन टोड्स किनको खाते थे? जो जमीन पे बीटल्स रहते हैं. बट शुगर केन वाले कहाँ रहते थे? टॉप ऑफ द शुगर केन, राइट? सो देवर टू मेनी बीटल्स? नो. देयर ओन रिसर्च वॉज फॉल्टी? नो. दे बिलीव दैट द रिपोर्ट दैट रेड. उन्होंने उसको बिलीव कर लिया जो उन्होंने रिपोर्ट पढ़ी है ना. उन्होंने बस क्या पढ़ा कि ये शुगर केन टोड्स क्या करते हैं, केन टोड्स जो बीटल्स होते हैं शुगर केन के ऊपर उन्हें खा लेते हैं. ये रिपोर्ट उन्होंने कहीं पर पढ़ी और उन्होंने उसको बिलीव करके दे ब्रॉट दी केन टोड्स. और जिसकी वजह से क्या हुआ? वो तो खत्म हुए नहीं उनके. सो दैट बिकम्स दैट दे बिलीव द रिपोर्ट दे रेड, राइट? क्वेश्चन नंबर 9 के लिए रीड करेंगे.
Well out of reach of the toads. In fact, they never come into contact with each other. Now, you may well ask, how did this terrible mistake ever happen? And the reason is quite simply that the farmers were desperate to find a way of ridding their fields of the cane beetle, and so they accepted the reports that had been written
देखो,
without ever doing their own research.
without ever doing their own research, they believed the reports they read, right? उन्होंने अपना कोई रिसर्च नहीं किया और जो उन्हें मिला उन्होंने उसी पे बिलीव कर लिया, right? So there goes 8th question's answer is going to be C.
Meanwhile, much of tropical northeast Australia is infested with the cane toad, which serves no purpose whatsoever. And experts claim that the toad is spreading south in plague proportions. The added irony is that in 1947, just 12 years later, an effective pesticide was developed which actually kills the beetle, thereby ensuring the survival of the sugarcane industry to this day. Now,
Okay. So शुगर केन इंडस्ट्री जब इन्होंने बोला कि एक पेस्टिसाइड इन्होंने ढूंढ लिया दैट एक्चुअली किल्स द बीटल्स, सो उससे क्या हुआ? थ्राइव्स टुडे हैज डाइड आउट इन सम एरिया, सर्वाइव अलोंगसाइड द बीटल. नहीं, बीटल के साथ तो सर्वाइव नहीं कर रही है. डाइड आउट इन सम एरिया ये भी नहीं बोला, बट इट इज थ्राइविंग टुडे. अब आजकल क्या हो रहा है? बढ़ रहा है या बढ़ रही है. ठीक है, सो द करेक्ट आंसर इज गोइंग टू बी फॉर 9, इट इज गोइंग टू बी ए, दैट इट थ्राइव्स टुडे. ठीक है, समझ में आ रहा है? कोई भी डाउट हो यू गाइस कैन आस्क मी कि मैम ये वाला क्लियर नहीं है, प्लीज एक्सप्लेन इट वंस मोर, ओके? बट डू लेट मी नो इफ इट इज क्लियर और नॉट. ओके, Now let's play the next one.
As agricultural scientists, we have to ask ourselves, what lessons are to be learned from this tale? And I can think of three main points. Firstly, one should never rely on claims which are not backed up by evidence, i.e., in this case, evidence that the cane toad actually eats the grub of the cane beetle and thereby kills the pest.
अच्छा, ये तीनों ऑप्शंस में से कहीं बोला गया है, पर तीन ऑप्शंस क्या क्या हैं? द एनवायरमेंट इज कॉन्स्टेंटली एट रिस्क, फर्स्ट हैंड रिसर्च इज नॉट ऑलवेज नेसेसरी, कॉशन इज नेसेसरी व्हेन डीलिंग विद नेचर. सो हमें ना इन तीनों ऑप्शंस में से वी हैव टू बी वेरी केयरफुल वट एवर शी इज सेइंग कि क्या कोई चीज़ जो ये बोल रही है वहाँ पे गिवन है या नहीं. तो लेट्स लिसन. पहला वाला तो कहीं नहीं था, है ना? सो लेट्स लिसन टू द सेकेंड पॉइंट शी सेज.
Secondly, we should look very carefully at possible effects of introducing any living species into a new environment. And
Okay.
lastly,
सो अच्छा, इसने ये बोला कि वी शुड बी वेरी वेल अवेयर विद द न्यू स्पीशीज इंट्रोड्यूसिंग टू अ न्यू एनवायरनमेंट. सो हमें पता है कि कोई भी अगर हम किसी नई चीज़ को नेचर के पास ला रहे हैं, सो वी नो वी हैव टू बी वेरी वेरी कॉशियस. सो कॉशन इज नेसेसरी व्हेन डीलिंग विद नेचर. इज इट सो? सो कैन आई से दैट द सी इज गोइंग टू बी द करेक्ट आंसर? लेट्स लिसन टू द रेस्ट ऑफ द ऑडियो, देन यू कैन फिगर इट आउट.
one should not allow one's decision making to be influenced by a sense of desperation, which may cloud the issue.
ओके, सो कहीं पे यहाँ पे ये डेस्परेशन की बात हुई कि इतना डेस्परेट मत हो दैट योर जजमेंट विल क्लाउड बाय योर इश्यूज. कि ऐसा तो कहीं पे भी नहीं हुआ. सो आई नो दैट ओवर हियर सी इज गोइंग टू बी द करेक्ट आंसर. व्हाई? बिकॉज ए कहीं पे नहीं बोला गया, बी कहीं पे नहीं बोला गया, बट उसने ये बात बोली कि जब भी कोई आप नई चीज़ लेके आते हो एंड व्हेन यू आर इंट्रोड्यूसिंग इट टू अ न्यू एनवायरनमेंट, यू हैव टू बी कॉशियस, यू हैव टू बी प्रिकेरियस अबाउट इट. कि आपको बहुत प्रिकॉशियस होना पड़ेगा कि कोई भी चीज़ आप इसमें यू आर इंट्रोड्यूसिंग इट टू अ न्यू एनवायरनमेंट, तो वहाँ पे कैसा इफेक्ट दिखाएगी, राइट? सो दैट इज हाउ द करेक्ट आंसर इज गोइंग टू बी सी, नॉट ए एंड बी. ठीक है? सो दैट वॉज द पार्ट 1 from question number 1 to 10. So how much you have gained, you can tell me. We have gained from this till this, like this much mark out of 10. Okay, now let's go with the part 2. We are directly going to listen to the audio, not to the instructions, right? So first let's read the questions. 11-12 में बोला गया है लिस्ट 2 मटीरियल्स विच आर सूटेबल फॉर रिस्ट रेस्ट. अच्छा, वी रिमेंबर दैट सेकेंड वाले पार्ट में क्या ऑडियो डिस्कस हुई थी? देयर वॉज अ टीचर और लेट्स से अ स्पीकर हु वाज टेलिंग थिंग्स अबाउट रेस्ट, है ना? जब आप काम करते हो कंप्यूटर पे, व्हाट शुड बी डन, व्हाट शुड नॉट बी डन. सो दीज वर द थिंग्स शी वाज डिस्कसिंग, राइट? तो वही चीज़ हम यहाँ पे डिस्कस करेंगे. So I'm going to play the audio, listen to it carefully.
Now, listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 17. Hello everyone and welcome to the second session on health and safety. And today we're focusing on health and safety when using a computer. Now, can you all gather round this workstation here? That's great, thanks. Okay, now, let's look at some equipment that is specifically designed for safe computer use. Firstly, take a look at this item here. Yes, the sloped slab in front of the keyboard. Does anyone know what it is? That's right, it's a wrist rest. And it does a lot more than take up room on your desk, I can tell you. Well, what does it do exactly? In actual fact, it's specifically designed to support your wrist when you're typing or when you're using a computer mouse. Now, the one I'm holding in my hand is made of foam rubber.
So हमें क्वेश्चन बता, लिस्ट 2 मटीरियल्स विच आर सूटेबल फॉर रिस्ट रेस्ट. सो सबसे पहले इसने क्या बोला? इट इज़ मेड ऑफ फोम रबर. तो पहला मटीरियल जो हो जाएगा, इट इज़ गोइंग टू बी foam rubber. This is the first material she said. ठीक है. Secondly, सुन लेते हैं second material क्या है.
Come on now, have a feel. You know you want to. Now, it's very flexible, isn't it? The padding is firm, but it also gives way when you press it, just like this. Here's another type, by the way. This one is filled with gel. Now, like the foam rubber type, it's got a firm surface.
So second one is of gel. तो second क्या हो जाएगा यहाँ पे? It is going to be gel. ठीक है, foam rubber हो गया, gel हो गया. So we have gotten the two, let's say, materials of which it is going to be made of. है ना, wrist किन दो materials का बन सकता है? Foam rubber and gel. Clear है ये चीज? चलो आगे सुनते हैं.
Another type, by the way, this one is filled with gel. Now, like the foam rubber type, it's got a firm surface, but when you press it like this, it gives way with a little spring. However, not all wrist rests are flexible like that. Some are made from hard plastic. Doesn't sound like a comfortable support for your wrist, does it? So, not to be recommended. Okay, so we know what kind of material we're looking for in a wrist rest. But what else do we have to think about before we choose one? Now, look again at the foam rubber wrist rest here. You can see that the slope of the wrist rest and the height and the width too match the front edge of the keyboard here. And there are no sharp edges.
So first is make sure it is free of, it has no sharp edges. So that means it is free of sharp edges. यही तो उसने बोला. उसने क्या बोला कि जो भी आप wrist rest यूज कर रहे हो इसके sharp edges नहीं होने चाहिए. So that is what it should be free of, right? So that is going to be a question number 13. Let's move to 14, 15, 16 and 17. Now same way again it is going to be some of the things. अब हमें 14 से लेके 16 तक we have to tell the advantages and in 17 we have to tell the disadvantage, right? So let's listen to the audio.
Look, it's really nice and smooth. We know it's a busy time for you all at the moment. You're busy with assignments in between the hours you're spending browsing the net and going on social networking sites. Well, just think about how hard your wrist has to work. So, using a wrist rest like this one can really help in a number of ways. First of all, it helps you keep your wrist straight when you're using your computer. I'm demonstrating this now.
So it can help the wrist to maintain a straight and neutral position. So for 14 it is going to be straight and neutral position, right? Let's move to question number 15.
As you can see, my wrist is neutral and straight rather than bent up and down. See what I mean? Now, it can also provide padding for your hands. It works in much the same way as a cushion, so it makes your desk much more comfortable. Now, please note, I did say cushion rather than pillow. We don't want you students to be too comfortable.
It's okay. Hi Gagan, it's okay. So, like from question number 15, let's go ahead and you can also tell me the answers, okay? So, we are dealing with question number 15. So, let's listen to the audio.
Another advantage of a wrist rest is that it stops your hands from dropping off the edge of the keyboard.
So, it says dropping off the edge of the keyboard, right? So, what I can write? I can write dropping off, as she says. So 15 में क्या हो जाएगा? It is going to be dropping ऑफ. ठीक है, जो जो चीजें सुन रही हो जस्ट हैव टू राइट इट डाउन. ठीक है, देयर इज नो नीड. Yeah, I will tell you later on. ठीक है, question number 11 I'll tell you. Just let's complete it and then we'll discuss the 11th question. चलो, let's listen.
In your neck and shoulders.
Okay. Yeah.
Much more comfortable. Now, please note, I did say cushion rather than pillow. We don't want you students to be too comfortable. Another advantage of a wrist rest is that it stops your hands from dropping off the edge of the keyboard. A wrist rest can also relieve tension and soreness in your neck and shoulders.
So, last one, like 16 one is going to be, it can reduce pain or tension, the same thing in your neck and shoulder, right? So, यहाँ पे क्या हो जाएगा? Neck is the correct answer. ठीक है? Lastly, disadvantage, let's listen to it and try to answer. Very good, Gagan. 16 is absolutely correct.
How does it do that exactly? Well, it removes the weight of your arm from your shoulders and neck altogether. So there are a lot of benefits, aren't there? However, most people never learn how to use a wrist rest correctly. In fact, leaning your wrists on a wrist rest for long periods can put a lot of pressure on the undersides of your wrists.
Very good. So the last one is going to be, it may increase the pressure on the undersides of your wrist, right? So 17 तक क्या आंसर हो जाएगा? Yes, absolutely correct. It is going to be underside, right? Question number 18, 19, 20. Simply write no more than 3 words or numbers for each answer. This is just normal question and answer. So हमें क्या करना है? 3 वर्ड से ज़्यादा के आंसर्स नहीं लिखने, right? So let's listen to the audio and try to answer. ठीक है?
Now listen to and answer questions 18 to 20. So, to make the most of your wrist rest, it's really important to follow a few basic tips. First of all, make sure you place your wrist rest approximately 1.5 inches away from your keyboard.
Okay,
like
so
this.
Question is what? How far should the wrist rest be placed from the keyboard? So she's just said that it should be 1.5 inches, right? I know that I can use more, at most 3. So I can use 1.5 simply. 1.5 inches, or you can just simply write 1.5 inches. Okay, so this is your answer going to be. Now, let's read to the question number 19 and then 20.
Never ever place your wrists directly on your wrist rest. Instead, place the palm or ball of your hand.
So, which part of the hand should be placed on the wrist rest? A palm or the ball, she said, right? So, palm, sorry, I have just written the spelling wrong. So, yes, it is going to be palm or the ball of your hand. So, that is enough because we know that maximum is 3 words limit. तो हमने 3 word लिख दिए हैं, ठीक है ना? Yes, absolutely correct, Gagan. 1.5 inches. Last question के लिए हम सुन लेते हैं एक बार audio. Very good.
On the wrist. And another thing, don't use the wrist rest all the time, particularly when you're typing. Instead, your hands should be on the wrist rests during break periods.
So the last answer is going to be during break periods, right? यही तो बोला कि हर time use मत करो. कब use करो? When there is a break period, when you are resting. So 3 words at most, and this is my answer going to be, right? Absolutely correct, Gagan. Very good. तो चलो 2 part हो गए. लास्ट के 2 और बचे हुए हैं. क्वेश्चन नंबर 21 to 30 and then 31 to 40. So let's try to read the question first and then try to answer. अच्छा, तो क्वेश्चन नंबर 21 से 23 में क्या बोला गया? Which 3 examples of space junk are mentioned by the speaker? ये हमें याद है कि this conversation was between 2 friends जो कि क्या डिस्कस कर रहे थे? Space junk के बारे में डिस्कशन कर रहे थे. Remember? So let's try to listen to the audio and try to answer.
Now listen and answer questions 21 to 26.
Hey, did you manage to go to the talk by Dr. Chadwick this morning, Andy?
I was there. What happened to you, Sam?
My bike had a puncture. Seriously. Anyway, Ruth, I bet you took some notes. Can you fill me in?
Sure. It was all about space junk. Really interesting, actually. I mean, I knew about how much rubbish humans are dumping here on planet Earth, but I had no idea how much junk there is flying around in space. Did you know that there are literally millions of pieces of rubbish orbiting the Earth as we speak?
Not until now, I didn't.
They reckon that around 100 tons of very small objects, like mainly dust, drops on Earth every single day.
Yes, that's what she said.
I thought space junk was all man-made. I can't believe they know so accurately how much is actually out there. Do they track and monitor it all the time?
Yeah, they do. According to the talk, there are nearly 25,000 objects larger than 10 centimeters in diameter now orbiting the Earth.
And what does all this space junk consist of? Isn't it all discarded parts of rockets that were either broken or left behind after space missions, like Apollo and all those spacecraft from years ago?
Well, yes, but not only that. All other kinds of debris that we've dumped in space too. Anything from dead satellites to loose metal screws. There are even tiny particles of paint and liquid coolant.
So who is to blame for depositing all the...
क्या क्या सुना हमने? We know that there are part of satellites, loose paint and metal screws, right? So it doesn't matter in which order you go. So the correct answer, I know that it is this, this and this. ये तीनों की तो बात हुई. So either DEF, FED और EFD. जैसे लिखना है लिख दो. That's up to you. If you want to write the full names, you can write the full names as well. If you want to go with the alphabets, you can go with the alphabets. तो ये चीज़ clear है कि इन तीनों चीज़ों की बात हुई है यहाँ पे. Now let's move forward. Now, which country is responsible for depositing the following percentages of space junk? So, अब इन्होंने ये बोला who is to blame or responsible. So, let's listen.
This rubbish, where does it come from?
Well, I knew you were going to ask me that, Sam. So, hang on. You can take some of my notes if you like.
Thanks a lot. That's really helpful.
Here, look. Over a third, 37% to be exact, comes from Russia.
So 37% comes from Russia. Yes, I know. So you have just written, I guess, the whole names. So 37% is going to be Russia. So I know over here it is going to be D, right? क्योंकि उसने सीधा सीधा बोला 37% किससे आ जाएगा? Russia से. Now 29 or 28% और सुन लेते हैं and then we'll write down. ये तो easy था, right?
But other countries are close behind. Another third, well, just under actually, 29% is from America, and then 28% is from China.
So 29% from America and 28% from China. So 29 के लिए क्या रखोगे? You know America is E, so it is going to be E, and China is A, so this is going to be A. Either write the whole names or you can go ahead with the alphabets as well. ठीक है? Yes, absolutely correct. 26 में हो जाएगा रशिया, यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स एंड चाइना. वेरी गुड, गुड जॉब. चलो लेट्स मूव टू द नेक्स्ट वन. अच्छा, नेक्स्ट में ना यू हैव टू चूज द करेक्ट लेटर्स बिटवीन ए एंड आई. ए से लेके आई नहीं है, वो एच होना चाहिए था, बट इट्स ओके. ए से लेके एच के बीच में यू हैव टू चूज करेक्ट लेटर्स फॉर 27, 28, 29 एंड 30. मतलब इन सारे ऑप्शंस में से 8 ऑप्शंस में से यू हैव टू चूज 4 करेक्ट ऑप्शंस. ठीक है. सो फर्स्ट लेट्स लुक एट द ऑप्शंस, क्या क्या हैं हमारे, एंड देन विल मूव टू द करेक्ट आंसर. ठीक है. चलो लेट्स लिसन टू द ऑडियो. सो ऑप्शंस क्या क्या हैं मेरे, व्हाट आर द ऑप्शंस, पढ़ लेते हैं एक बार. ग्रोन अप गोरिल्ला, डबल डेकर बस, डेजर्ट, ईस्टर्न ऑस्ट्रेलिया, 1980s, 2001, 100 टर्न्स द साउथ पैसिफिक. सो इनमें से मुझे कुछ चूज करना है. Yes, they will be correct. Yes, Kagan. See, you have to choose the correct option. So, option could be in the term, like in the term of name or the alphabet as well. ठीक है ना. अगर वो specifically mention करें that you have to choose the option in the terms of let's say alphabets, तो you have to write down the alphabets only, not the names. ठीक है. चलो लेट्स लिसन.
To 30.
So are you saying I'm more likely to win the lottery?
Well, just think about it. 2/3 of the Earth is ocean.
That's true. But in time, almost all these pieces of rubbish will fall to Earth because the object's orbit is decreased by its gravitational pull. But the good news is that they don't cause any serious damage. You know, they can't actually survive the heat generated on re-entry. They simply burn away.
But that's not always the case. There are exceptions. Chunks of the United States UARS satellite recently fell into the Pacific Ocean.
The UARS satellite.
It was this 6-ton satellite launched by the Space Shuttle Discovery way back in 1991. So it had been up in space for 20 years, but stopped working in 2005. It weighed 5,700 kilos.
And that's about the same as a double-decker bus.
So the size and weight of, notes क्या थे उसने क्या बोला, it is the size of a double decker bus, है ना. B, yes, absolutely correct Gagan. I can see B that says double decker bus, so I'll be going ahead with B. I'm not writing the whole name because there is no space, so I'm just writing down B. B आपको पता होना चाहिए, it is for double decker bus, right? चलो let's listen. उसने बोल दिया it has been into space for 20 years. Same has been rephrased at 2 decades, है ना. अब स्काईलैब का देख लेते हैं.
Apparently.
And, just check my notes. Here it is, yes. The largest of these great big chunks that fell into the sea weighed about 158 kilograms. Think of the weight of an adult gorilla, Sam, and you get the picture.
A nice soft landing then.
Dr. Chadwick said, imagine a couple of washing machines tied together and travelling at 100 miles per hour, and you'll get an idea. Oh, and do you remember Skylab? That was another US space station, and it fell to Earth at least 3 decades ago, in 1979. It fell into the Indian Ocean and the deserts of Western Australia.
According to what I wrote down, that particular space junk weighed 100 tons. And let's not forget Mir, the Russian space station.
Okay, so 28 and 29, what is the answer going to be? जल्दी से बताओ गागन. Weight उसने बता दिया, and ended up in that place has also been discussed. So we'll look at the options. I know उसने बताया कहाँ पे it ended up in the desert, right? So 28 के लिए क्या हो जाएगा? It is going to be this. ये 27 है, and it weighed approximately 100 tons. So 29 का क्या हो जाएगा? It is going to be 100 tons, right? Indian Ocean नहीं, he said the desert. 28. Just listen to it once more, ठीक है? C is the correct answer, beta. G, yes. Let's move forward. Lastly, जो वो मीर की बात कर रहा है of Russia. But I choose ended up in 1980s, which is wrong. Okay.
Mir weighed 135 tons, far, far larger than UARS, and it fell to Earth in 2001. It plunged straight into the South Pacific.
All very interesting. Listen, I've got some junk of my own to sort out. My bike. That's the second puncture this week.
Come on, I'll help you fix it.
Okay, let's listen to the mayor, what they have to say about it. उसने बोला ended up in.
Space junk weighed 100 tons. And let's not forget Mir, the Russian space station. Mir weighed 135 tons, far, far larger than UARS, and it fell to Earth in 2001. It plunged straight into the South Pacific.
It plunged south, right into the South Pacific. Ended up in यहाँ पे क्या है ना? They are talking about the place. So it ended up in South Pacific. Okay? So this is 30th going to be. ठीक है? So यहाँ पे क्या हो जाएगा? 38 का H हो जाएगा. This is G. This is C. ठीक है? I hope it is correct. यहाँ पे समझ में आ गया होगा that which two were the wrong ones. ठीक है? Let's move to the question number 31 से लेके 40 तक. Let's see. This is yes, exactly. Very good, Gagan. You have corrected yourself now. Chalo, let's listen to the last part.
Listen carefully to the talk and answer questions 31 to 40.
Good morning, everyone. Let's make a start. Now, over the last few weeks, we've looked at some key areas in the travel and tourism module. We've already charted the origins and development of tourism, and we've also looked at the negative effects of tourism on both local communities and the environment. So, in this lecture, we're going to focus on ways in which tourists can actually benefit local people and natural areas if they travel responsibly. And this kind of travel is known as ecotourism. Now, there's no one definition of ecotourism. In fact, it can be interpreted in a number of different ways. This means it represents different things to different people. And sometimes people misunderstand ecotourism altogether. They think of it as just spending time in nature or natural areas. However, the truth is far more complex. In essence, it aims to minimize the negative impacts of tourism.
So, 31 में क्या हो जाएगा? Negative impacts of tourism. So 31 is going to be impacts. We don't have that much time, so I'm going to quickly tell you the answers. ठीक है? Impacts of tourism, examples.
That we looked at earlier on in the course. Problems such as litter and water pollution, crime and so on.
So यहाँ पे rubbish बता दिया उन्होंने, crime बता दिया, so pollution is missing. So यहाँ पे क्या कर देंगे? We'll write pollution. ठीक है? सिर्फ one word लिखना है, so you cannot write the whole water pollution. Just go ahead with the pollution. Yes, you have answered all the options correctly, like all the questions. Good.
And at the same time, to encourage travelers to have a positive impact on the places they visit.
चलो आगे कर लेते हैं.
Mass tourism, we mean hundreds, if not thousands of people going on, for example, their 2 weeks a year beach holidays or traditional sightseeing tours. Alternative tourism includes travel such as backpacking and adventure holidays.
So backpacking is going to be, है ना? that is the correct answer. आगे चल लेते हैं जल्दी से.
And the term alternative also includes ecotourism, which is what we are mainly focusing on today. Now, what about
Very good.
sustainable tourism? Sustainable tourism has the same ideals as ecotourism,
Very good.
but it isn't limited to natural areas. So, you can have a
So last में क्या हो जाएगा? Travel is not restricted to natural. Natural what? जल्दी से बताओ. अभी अभी क्या बोला उसने? एरियाज. रिमेंबर? सो यहाँ पे क्या हो जाएगा? एरियाज इज द करेक्ट आंसर. ठीक है, चलो लेट्स लिसन.
thousands of people going on, for example, their 2 weeks a year.
ये हमने सुन लिया.
So, you can have a sustainable tourist experience in a city or a town. And then we have responsible tourism. What does that
No, first इधर से.
And the term alternative also includes ecotourism, which is what we are mainly focusing on today. Now, what about sustainable tourism? Sustainable tourism has the same
Okay, sorry.
ideals as ecotourism, but it isn't limited
Customs,
to natural
areas. अरे actually I was just focusing on the
You can
time.
have a
52 हो गया.
sustainable tourist experience in a city or a town. And then we have responsible tourism.
So involves adhering to local customs. For example, dress and languages. Very good. So यहाँ पे क्या हो जाएगा? 36 is going to be customs. 37 से 40 देख लेते हैं जल्दी से because we don't have that much time. So try to answer quickly. Okay?
What does that mean exactly? Now, basically, this involves acting responsibly and respectfully as a guest when we travel overseas. And what do we mean by respectful? Well, being respectful might involve asking permission to take photographs, or go into someone's home observing some of the customs of the local community, such as dress, or making an effort to learn the language. Now, ecotourism can be cheap or changes sheets and towels for their guests less frequently. Now, active ecotourisms a way for people to enjoy everything that nature has to offer.
Yes, involves
And at the
assisting.
same time, enable them to leave a positive mark on the environment.
Exactly.
Now, this kind of eco-tourist is sometimes referred to as a voluntourist. That's a combination of volunteer and tourist. You get the idea. Now, voluntourists prefer to experience a new place in an active way. And this doesn't mean sitting in a tourist bus or listening to a pre-recorded guide. Basically, they want to physically connect with the place they're visiting. And this includes connecting with humans and animals. Now, their approach to travel can make a real difference.
यहाँ पे क्या हो
and can
जाएगा?
really benefit the
Conservative.
places and the communities they choose to visit. Voluntourists often help local people construct and repair buildings. Or it could mean being willing to help a community with nature conservation.
Conservation. ठीक है ना? Nature conservation, not conservative.
So let's think of some specific examples of this kind of work in action. Now, voluntourists have helped local communities to plant hundreds of trees and installed identifying signs in the rainforests of Costa Rica. They've also helped with sustainable food production in Cuba.
Production.
And in Jamaica, they've been involved in the cleaning up of local rivers.
Rivers.
And in Thailand, they've worked on building ecologically sustainable reforested habitats. Now, some of the work that voluntourists do also involves looking after endangered animals, like the Giant Panda Project in Japan, or the Animal Sanctuary Project in Ecuador.
Okay, so that was all. 11th ka answer, I'm telling you. So that was all 40th question, and I'm just going to quickly tell Gagan the answer of question number 11. So you have answered Fong. Fong is not there, it is foam rubber. एक बार फिर से सुनना, foam, FOAM. ठीक है, I know it was a misheard something. You have misheard something. इसीलिए you have instead of foam, you have written Fong. है ना? So the correct answer is going to be foam rubber, and next one is gel. So I hope it is clear. So that is all for today. Tomorrow we'll be discussing a reading passage, right? क्योंकि reading passage हमने बहुत time से नहीं किया है. So we'll be doing a reading passage at 5 and 3 p.m. vocabulary. हाँ, foam rubber is the correct answer. चलो. So that is all for today. Bye bye. Take care and have a great day. Chalo, that's great.